Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. Thursday evenings is Three Good Generals time, and I have with us General Dushyant Singh and General Ravi Shankar. General Rajiv Narayanan couldn't make it, and we have a very important breaking announcement. Let's start with General Dushyant Singh. General Dushyant Singh, General Ravi Shankar, Namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel.
Namaskar, sir.
And let's start with General Dushyant Singh today. General Dushyant, it was a very eventful day. I don't know if it was released yesterday or today. Talk to us a little bit about the new book on Operation Sindoor that you have released, sir.
Thank you, Sri Ayerji. I think this is the first channel on which I am announcing the release of this book, Operation Sindoor, Before and Beyond. So the title itself is not restricted to Operation Sindoor, but it also catches the glimpses of other conflicts which were going on before Operation Sindoor and what is likely to happen in the future. So it's a very comprehensive work on this particular subject, and also it is I would say global with a India focus. So there would be something for everyone to read in this. As far as the account of Operation Sindoor goes, let me clarify, it is based on open source, so do read it with that kind of a caution. If you think that this may be the truth, may be that there are some variations which I can't stand or vouch for. The book was released today itself, about 3 hours back. I was in the chief's lounge, and there we requested the chief to do so. Here's the photograph of the chief and my deputy ADG clause, General Bhaduria, and to my as you look to my left is Major General Neeraj Shukla, who's a serving officer and the controlling directorate for our think tank. So it was a vision of the chief of the army staff. He wanted certain misperceptions going around in the environment to be corrected. So therefore, we took on this particular job. And the let me tell you, the contributing authors come from variety of sources, such as diplomats come politicians, academicians, thinkers, and armed forces officers, including there is a very interesting chapter in this of General Ravi Shankar. So therefore, you will find one of our and of course I have 2 chapters in this. So you will find the contributors also from who come regularly on Shri Guru channel, P Guru's channel. So with that, I think I'll leave it rest all for you to buy. It will be available on the Amazon very soon. Otherwise, you can email to director.clause.in, and you will get this particular same book with a 25% discount on paperback. And unfortunately, we are not putting up the hardcover for sale for some reasons, but we will subsequently see how the book does in the environment. Then possibly we'll also think of a hardcover. So with that, I think if IRG allows me, we can move on to the today's topic.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And let's, as always, let's start with General Ravi Shankar. General Ravi Shankar, this global pivot that happened. Today there is a filing in the Supreme Court, by the way, and I'm going to talk about that in a separate monologue, viewers, where the Trump administration is citing India as a main reason for tariffs being imposed. So it's gone into an orbit of its own. I'll decipher that at a different time. Certainly, there is something about India that makes the United States very uncomfortable, knowing fully well that India did not attend that military day thing. That India was very, what I would say is business-like. It came to SCO. Some might say that Modi stole the thunder there, especially the 10 minutes of waiting for Putin waiting for him for 10 minutes. General Ravi Shankar, see, this is what the optics behind a lot of things are happening. And I'm hoping that you're going to kind of peek the carpet a little bit and give us some insights on what really is going on.
Right. Thanks a lot. At the outset, my congratulations to General Dushyant and this entire team who must have worked hard to put this book up. A lot of good people have written. Please read it. And I'd also like to thank Sri Ayerji for having given this platform where it could go first. And I would like to tell all of you who are listening, this is the kind of authenticity we would like to come across. And that is why we are completely associated with P Gurus. one of the best channels where I like to speak. Right. Now let's get to this India as a global pivot. Let's get above what Trump said and what Navarro said, what anyone XYZ has said. We look at it a little higher. What is the global environment? Trump is fighting a tariff war, or rather, he's unleashed a tariff war on anyone. China is full of debt traps. They're showcasing their military. Why are they showcasing their military? Military coercion, threat, whatever you call it. This is the two great superpowers you have. Now, what happens to a country? I'm going in a little of a tangent, but I'll get back to the thing. What happens to a country? It could be a country which is consuming, or a manufacturer, or a middling country, or a global south, or an advanced country. It doesn't matter. Every country has to trade. And most of the countries, the two major trading partners invariably are China and USA. Where do they go? They go if they turn towards Trump. They're all tariffed. Everyone is tariffed. There are problems. They turn to China. It's all about dumping, debt trap, and all that, and that will wreck their economy. So, what does a country do? That country, it doesn't matter which it is, pivots. Where does it pivot to? It, naturally, it will pivot to an economy which is large, growing. It has stable politics. There's a strong military, so that there's safety, security, and all that. A democratic polity, if I may say. And then, of course, that country has to give markets. While the country must have markets for everything, the country must also be producing, manufacturing. And if you put manufacturing and markets together, it needs to have infrastructure, right? And if you need to have the infrastructure and consumption, it needs to have a good demography, and an educated demography who can work, who can give people the ability to the manpower required, the labor required for the world, and also to be inventive. Okay, geopolitically, it has to be relevant. It needs to have resources, right? It has to be attractive to the world to come and do things, right? It has to be a dominant economy in its own area. Most importantly, that country needs to have trust of everyone who wants to trade with it. Anyone who wants to trade with it shouldn't say, look, if I shake hands with this country and stop shaking hands, I should see whether my fingers are there or not. That's how they will be dealing with, America and China. Which is that country today? Is it Germany? Obviously not. Is it Japan? No. Is it Russia? Does Russia fit the bill? No. There's only one country which fits the bill, and that is India. You see, countries are actually pivoting to India. And, it's not my talk. What's the evidence? All this I'm talking evidentially. What's the evidence? Evidence is that India has stood up to Trump and China. Our Prime Minister has given two fingers to Trump. Equally, he's told put China in its place, despite the fact that he went to SCO. Actually, today you're plowing a lone furrow. People know it. People know it, and because of all the reasons I've said earlier, people are pivoting towards us. Yesterday, the foreign minister of Germany was there in India. Today, the Prime Minister of Singapore was there. He had a joint press conference with our Prime Minister. Some time back, the President of Philippines was here, right? And you see a whole lot of people. The President of Brazil gave a call to a Prime Minister that we should have a special summit or meeting, by thing, and their Vice President is coming here next month or later this month. I don't remember the dates. Our Prime Minister goes to Japan, and the investment from Japan doubles. The MOU is double, right? The Middle East, in their diversification, are looking heavily at India. Australia wants to expand and extend their FTA, which we have signed with them 2 years back. UK has an FTA with you, which has been achieved after a long time. In the last 6 months, it has been, it put on fast track to come to an FTA. There are a whole lot of countries who want to do FTA with us. Is this a one-way street? No. As much as we want FTAs, they also want FTAs. They're pivoting to India. That is why I'm very clear that there's a global pivot to India. And as there's a global pivot to India is the pivot of the future. Right? I'll stop here. This is where the way I put it. There are more issues which we will discuss as we go along. Back to you, Shreya.
Thank you so much, General Ravi Shankar. And viewers, please like this video wherever you are watching. It is coming live to you on 3 different YouTube channels: Strategic Frontlines, that is the Class channel, then Ganashot, as well as on P Gurus. Wherever you are watching it, kindly click the like button. As we now go to General Dushyant Singh. General Dushyant Singh, you saw a big parade in on that day where everybody was beaming with pride. Sometimes what happens is these things are all great for parades, but the proof of the pudding is in its eating. And how much reality do you see there, and how much some made up stuff you will see there? But that's your input, sir. But before that, maybe you want to add to what General Ravi Shankar said, then you can touch upon this.
Yeah, as far as thanks a lot for bringing me in at this point. As far as whatever Jan Shankar has said, I think it is being it's very, very evident. It is seen visibly across the globe, and so therefore there is no doubt that India is emerging as a point of pivot or a country of pivot. At the same time, certain things of the SCO which I felt were unique in nature, because already a lot has been covered in the YouTubes of various platforms. What I will like to highlight about SCO before we do anything else, Modi's certain unique successes. First, of course, he got the Pahalgam in. Of course, somebody may say that even Jafar train was also included in the kind of document, but you see, the thing which got attention was the Pahalgam, because initially SCO had refused to include the defense minister's meeting. SCO had refused to include Pahalgam. So there seems to be some amount of understanding which has been drummed home to China that you cannot take India lightly. So that is one big defining moment. The other thing which was that he changed the entire scope of SCO to include secure framework. Now, secure framework, all of you are aware, it is security, economic cooperation, and then we also have something, the full form: economic cooperation, connectivity, then also respect for sovereignty. I think that was something which has come out very clearly, and in this, I would like to highlight the President Putin's initial statement, which he made, that in as far as we are concerned, for us, any platform means everyone who is part of that platform is is equal in all respects. There is no power which is bigger or lower as far as that particular platform is concerned. Of course, that's an idealistic position, but at least there is an attempt to respect each other's sovereignty. And it all started with Putin doing the opening salvo the moment he arrived here. Even if we say that a lot of things were done from an optics perspective, I think there were certain things of the optics which were departure from the normal. And first and the foremost was the dense cooperation which India and Russia have with the car optics, the two traveling together. One can infer a lot of things from that particular video. And the second thing was that all three, standing together discussing something. There were 2-3 such events which actually highlighted the opportunity which was seized rightly by India as far as SCO is concerned to, of course, target, as we are all aware, our long-standing friend who's on who's in the who's on sitting between Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. So obviously you found a lot of counter reaction coming from the US. But what is the true reality? Here I would like to highlight that although there is this huge tariff war which is going on, and every day Navarro or Trump is trying to virtually abuse India, but what is quietly happening on the side? On the side, the US embassy gives a statement moment Modi lands at in India from SCO. US embassy calls India US partnership a defining relationship of the 21st century. This in itself is hinting to certain things. What does Scott Bessent says? He says the two great countries will come together. What does the statement highlighted by German ambassador is concerned? He says, a German foreign minister, he says India and Germany share the goal of preserving rules-based international order, including freedom of maritime trade routes, etc. Again, the point which I am trying to bring out is the because India is becoming or emerging as a pivot, it is also getting opportunities and alternatives to our dependence on the US. I think there are people in the US who are now trying to read it very, very carefully. So there seems to be a Jeff and Mutt kind of a reaction which is going on. India had initially possibly cancelled the exercise which was supposed to take place in Alaska. I believe it is likely to take place. What are these? I think these are some kind of fine back channel messages which are going around, and the turnaround has been started by the US embassy in India, and you will find slowly and slowly all these hawks going down the down the I don't want to use that word, down the drain, but but I feel that there is a hope of India emerging even more stronger after the SEO optics. So from that point of view, I lay a lot of importance to the SEO, the way India handled SEO meet, largest SEO summit possibly till now since its raising, and one face which was very clearly emerging as power, where everyone, Turkey, for example, Turkey seems to be warming up to India. So what is happening to that crick alignment which was taking place? China, Russia, Iran, Turkey. I think we are trying to make a wedge everywhere. So coming down to your second question, and which is about the grand show, the parade which took place on the 3rd of September. Look, if you look at the optics again, it was a fantastic parade, full military might of China displayed on the show. Where was it targeted? Obviously, there are two global level. It was the US, and at the regional level, it was Modi. But whatever be the reason, Modi returned back before the parade. Now, this also should be read from the perspective that India is not really kind of overawed by this the military parade which took place. Let me tell you, there are two, three things which are very, very critical to China. All their equipment are not battle tested. All of them are not battle tested. The day they get battle tested, the day they are able to prove that they are better than their adversaries, then only they will be taken that seriously. So I suppose even US didn't have much of a I mean, it didn't have any significant reaction to the military parade. India has also played it low for various reasons. One is that the relations are slightly improving. We need to find alternative to the tariff war. China will be able to kind of help us out in that. So tactical, I think, help being taken, no harm. Everybody does it, and in international relations, as you all know, there are no permanent friends and there are no permanent enemies. The relationship with China, in my view, the way it is emerging, despite the parade which took place, and I must say the parade was quite impressive, is that of strategic caution with cooperation. I think this is the right word to frame the current thaw which is going on between China and India. Other aspects of the parade were that why did they display their full might? I think the Chinese are believing that the decline of the US has commenced. So, therefore, there is a strategic signaling more to America than to India by displaying their full military prowess. And no doubt, if you go on paper, they have the largest navy now today. I mean, you can't deny that. But whether they can use that navy with the technological edge and with the skilled manpower, there is a big question mark. So there are a lot of loopholes. I think John Shankar has been talking about it in every video of his and busting the myth of Chinese prowess. So I leave that part to him as to where all to prick holes in the Chinese capability. But we must not undermine our adversary. We must be prepared. We have our own strengths. We have geography in our favor. We have a highly motivated force in our favor. We have a rapidly growing indigenous defense sector, which is in our favor. We have the academic circles which are now trying to collaborate with each other. Imagine a kind of a conference like NASCOM, which is only dealing with industry and hardcore industry, uh, essentially in civil areas like Samsung, LG, etc., etc., are trying to gravitate towards defense. They've called me for a talk on defense in Bangalore on the 11th. So there is a growing feeling within the country that everyone can contribute to the might of India. So with that, I think I'll stop here. Let's not read too much into the military parade. We have the services are looking at it very, very closely. They will try to create their own strategies for anything happening on a northern front.
Thank you so much, sir. And General Ravi Shankar, your thoughts on the display of weaponry and pomp and splendor. There is a message, like General Dushyant says, that it is a message to United States that China thinks that US is falling behind. I don't think so. I would like your input, sir, before I weigh in on this one.
Look, like what General Dushyant said, I agree with him. This message, I mean, the parade was damn good, very impressive. They've been practicing for over a month. They displayed their complete might.
Absolutely.
Right? Every equipment which they have has come on the parade. Why are they doing it? The way I look at it, there are two reasons for this. One is externally to show that China is strong, it can't be cowed down. And we are militarily strong. And the congregation of 26 others, leaders, along with this, proves that fact. Okay. He's got 26 and he's impressed them. And this SCO, so many leaders never attended. This SCO is special because Xi Jinping, from Xi Jinping's point of view, he got Modi to attend. So it's important. And then, that strongman look, pictures which are going viral about Putin and Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un walking and the rest walking behind. Okay.
Yes.
So all these optics are great. But equally, this parade is about internal issues, nationalism, telling people we are strong. This is securitization of its economy. We all know economically they are down. Okay. So if you have to pump up, and if you see it's achieved its effect, for the past 1 month, lot of talk about this military parade has been coming out in their media. For the past 3 days, it's only the military parade. Then nothing about economy, nothing about problems in the economy, nothing. And this will continue. And now because of this, people say, 26 leaders came and met Xi Jinping in China as a great country. We are a great people. And he's put that GGI, a global governance initiative. So China is leading that world order and China has the top. So there's a cover up on the holes in the economy. Right? And there's an internal messaging and securitization of the economy, and that's everything. That old contract, is frayed. So a new contract is being made with the people. This is the way I looked at this parade. Why is this man doing it? Does he need to do it? And the historic context was completely awry. He says this is for the 80th centenary of anti-fascist thing, victory of China over Japan and all that. It was not a communist victory. This party never participated in anything. If anything, the fight against Japan was carried out by Chiang Kai-shek and his nationalist government. And where are those nationalists? Kuomintang. They're sitting in Taiwan. The entire thing was, the floor of this whole campaign in the Pacific was borne by America. And who'll forget the thing of the great naval battles, Iwo Jima, Guadalcanal, the works, go through it. It was an American victory. It was not a Chinese victory by any stretch of imagination. If it was anti-fascism and things like that, the people who sacrificed their life are Americans, allies, Russians more than anyone. Actually, the maximum sacrifice against Nazi Germany was undertaken by Russians. All that has been now suddenly World War II was won by Chinese. You see, this is the internal messaging. Please understand. This is not for all of us. This is for the internal messaging. You must understand the Chinese have doctored this history for internal purposes. So this is the thing. Okay, now let me talk about the parade itself and equipment and all that. Well, I do hope it was a fantastic drill. I don't know whether they can fight as well. And that's a big question mark, because ever since the CCP has come into being, after the Vietnam War and thereafter, they've not fought. They've not fought well at all. They got hammered in 67 in Sikkim. They got hammered in Doklam or Dolam Plateau. In 2020, they got outmaneuvered. Eastern Ladakh on Kailash Range. Yangtze, they got pitted. October 22. I mean, it might be a small skirmish, but the outcomes were strategic. After that, they have not opened their beak. With all this, they have not been able to cross into Taiwan. They don't have the guts to do it. They keep circling around Taiwan with their biggest navy. And one thing is come out, if you see, if you really macro analyze this whole parade, because they put the complete equipment on display. China doesn't have projection capability. They don't have the capability to go and project anywhere. You saw that in the Iran-Israel war. The Chinese Navy was there. Iran was their friend. They had a strategic cooperation with Iran. And yet they didn't help Iran. And the same Iran and the same Iranis, they have no option, poor chaps. They are, endorsing the global governance initiative of Xi Jinping. See the amount of coercion, see the amount of everything. So I won't read anything out of this, great military parade which has happened. It's a political game and nothing more. And if India today we also do a parade every year on the Republic Day, isn't it? But our parade is mixed. It's not only military, it's also cultural and everything. One. Number two, we put only a glimpse of our capability. If we have to, we'll put a glimpse of the whole military. Where's the problem? India, Army, Navy, and Air Force and Coast Guard and police people join together. We'll be able to put more. After all, what was shown? 6 missiles of each variety. What is 6 missiles of each variety? But the choreography the propaganda of this whole story is huge. Okay. So, what are the new weapons which are shown? About 5, 6. Now, if China is inducting 5 to 6 weapons every year, then they have a major problem. They have a major problem in operational capability. And all this technology is all untested technology which has not been tested in battle. And that technology which has been tested in battle has failed in Op Sindoor.
Sindoor.
See, same HQ9 or PL-15 or whatever their air defense systems, they all failed. Ask Pakistan. Abhi tak Nurkan base is not on road. Okay, so they have failed miserably. And in my assessment, which I've always said, one of the reasons why China has agreed to whatever we had to push for the SCO was the fact that, look, they must have got the thing. Look, we have to do a deal with India because India can't be coerced militarily anymore. Why it can't be coerced? Not because Indian military has grown strong. It is because the Chinese equipment, after all, whatever Chinese equipment they're going to use against us is the same equipment which Pakistan used against us. It failed. If it failed Pakistan, how will it succeed with China? And that too in high altitude like Tibet. So, and they would have felt, oh yeah, no, this is not the time to go and pick up a fight with India. Okay, so let's do some deal. And of course, their economy is in dumps. And that is why they pivot to India. Please understand, they are pivoting to India. They have no choice. If you think it is only Germany, Japan, and all these other countries who are pivoting to India, even China is pivoting to India. So I hope I put all these things in the correct perspective. Yeah, over to you, Shreyaji.
Thank you so much, sir. This debate will go on because these are moves and counter moves and who's doing what, who is saying what. General Dushyant, you can wrap this thing up for us before we go to questions. There are lots of questions today from our viewers, sir, because then we'll also get more answers out of it, that more revelations too. But end game, China put on a display, but did Modi steal the thunder? Your opinion?
In my view, I think Modi was able to exploit the opportunity given to him through the SCO route, because at the time when the SCO meet was coming up, there was still a little bit of a doubt whether he will go to SCO or not go to SCO. But the Trump move of tariff against India kind of pushed Prime Minister Modi to go to SCO. But more importantly, the way he used this particular SCO meet to leverage the image of India in the global arena, I think that needs to be complimented. There is no doubt on that. And you should also see that along with the SCO, he had lined up a series of visits in India, whether it was Fijian president or whether it was the Germans, whether it was Singaporeans. So there has been a kind of a flurry of visits which are taking place, conveying to your adversaries, I won't say adversary, but adversary in the tariff domain now, that look, we have enough options. And when you give this kind of a signal, and your so-called today, I won't say arch enemy, but the enemy which has decided to make you as an example. You must read the Friedman's hear the Friedman's I don't know, YouTube podcast, if you all have heard it. I heard the entire podcast from start to the end. That podcast, when you hear it, you will find that the Americans consider India A as dispensable, one. B, not that important for their Indo-Pacific. C, they can do without India, even if they put India, behind them as far as India-US relations are concerned. Despite so much of forward movement which has taken place, we got almost a near NATO-like agreements which have taken place between India and America. If you look at right from Lemoa and base facility, MRO facilities, etc. So many things have happened. One has Indus X, ISET, and so on and so forth. So therefore, it's a Modi victory. I don't deny that, because moment he came, the embassy was quick enough to post that thing that we have a long standing friendship, etc., etc. Scott Bessent went is on a make and mend route. The Mark Rubio also seems to be slowly turning around. What is the exact reason? Only time will tell. The second issue was he was able to tell the Chinese what India wants and what India does not want.
Mm.
Going to Japan before China has sent a message not only to China but also to the West that look, we seriously mean strategic sovereignty. I'm calling it now, instead of autonomy, I'm saying strategic sovereignty. And we will stand by it at all costs. So therefore, that messaging which went, I think, sums up India's position. The only thing which I would like to tell is that India should start telling, selling is a bad word. India should start repositioning itself as a strategic bridge in the global order. We are the ones who can take a call from Ukraine, take a call from Putin, and yet go ahead as per our requirements. So much so that Putin is now giving a concession of another $2.5 per barrel. So much so that the US is also trying to come back to India. I think that's, if this can't be called a victory, then nothing else can be called a victory.
Thank you so
Anything
much,
else?
sir. General, last word on this, and then we can go to Q&A.
Yeah, you know,
One more point I wanted to, sir, just a minute. One more
Yeah.
point which I wanted to tell was, it is for the first time that UN and UN Secretary General comes to this place, signifying that WTO has gone out of the window. There is a need for different architecture to actually create global trade, or do a global trade. If the FTA is the route, then might as well go to the FTAs. Each country runs around, does FTAs with each other, and evolves its own bilateral trade agreements. That's all, sir. Thank you, sir. Sorry for interrupting in between.
no. You know, who stole the thunder? This question has been answered by the Chinese. In the Chinese media, no, I'm not joking. In the Chinese media, it's all about Modi. Tomorrow I'll see about in fact today it's all about the parade and all that, because they are blowing it up.
Yeah.
With a megaphone. But the natural reaction for the past 3 days is all about Modi. Modi this, Modi that. Then whether you go to Baidu, you go to Guancha, you go to SCO, whatever. And he's taken the show completely. I mean, this is the fact. The second thing is, you go to US portals, whether it's Fox News or Megyn Kelly show. In fact, today morning I did a show. I would like everyone to have a look at it, where I put about 6 or 7 people who are talking about this global pivot in India and all that. And I got views from Britain, I got views from USA, Australia, and various places. Fox is the holiest of holy Trumpian, right? So all these people say, look, losing India is unaffordable, including the Prime Minister of Finland. I'd like everyone to have a look at that video, so you'll understand what I'm talking. All those sentiments are there. That's why the global pivot, right? So there's a clear feeling in the West that Russia, India, China is too big for USA and the West to handle. Out of this, they feel if India goes, they are done, cooked. That's the pivot. On the other hand, You'll see as we go, Russia will try its best to keep us aligned in the RIC mode. We will not get there. ये भी will not get there. So you'll see this pivot happening. I just thought I'll put this across. And of course, the thunder.
Thank you so much, sir. And viewers, I think we were the first ones to say that India would be able to negotiate a $42 per barrel crude from Russia, 47 cap put by the EU, and $5 off is what we had said. And first it said 5%, but we said no, it's going to be $5. This was 2-3 weeks ago. Sridhar Chityalaji had mentioned it. Now it is turning out to be true. We also said that the payment is going to be in dirhams. And we'll wait and see how that goes. But point I'm trying to make here is that P-Gurus usually is the first with a lot of information. Do tune in to us as much as you can. Please also like Ganashot and also Strategic Frontlines, as each one of us are trying to round out some things that you probably will find it useful. This is not going to be ops and do, if anything, raise the temperatures in many countries because they were frankly surprised. They were frankly surprised. When China tries to help Pakistan in monitoring all the incoming, because they knew that there is going to be a response for Pahalgam, and India took out all those things and achieved all the targets, the 9 areas, but 10 or 15 strikes. I don't remember the exact number. India has done that. So this is a bit of a surprise, and everybody is scrambling and each one is expressing things in a certain way. It's called helter-skelter, I guess. Things will settle down. I think there has been quite diplomacy being followed by the Minister of External Affairs in trying to get things to move forward again with the United States. That's what I'm hearing. A lot of people are speculating that he has been kicked out, he has been asked to resign, blah, blah, blah. I don't buy that. My confirmation is that he has been hard at work trying to get some other things lined up. Let's wait and see how that goes. Let's take some questions now. First question, thank you, Sujit Kumar. Could any, if you reason, why ADB took over ML1 line of CPEC?
Well, it's very simple. They have to. I mean, China doesn't have money left. China can't fund CPEC. They have to find a mechanism through the Asian Development Bank. There's no other choice. But let's see how it goes. It's too early. Yeah.
Next one, please. This is for you, General Dushyant. Okay, this is an acknowledgement. Thank you so much. Next question for General Dushyant. Dear Generals, can you please prescribe a good book about 1967 India-China skirmish? General Dushyant.
Okay, 1967 conflict has been documented in various articles. If you go on the Google, you will find them. There are articles written by military generals. There are articles written by people of that time. You will be able to find the details. Otherwise, if you want to know books, I think Prabol Das Gupta has written a book on both Nathula and Chola. Most of the people don't know that the battle was fought at, subsequently the battle expanded to the neighboring passes also. In one of the passes, we were in, when the battle stopped, we were slightly disadvantaged, but we continue to hold the pass, that is Jalepla. So it's not very difficult to find details about 1967 conflict. I think I've also written an article somewhere. You may be able to find it.
Thank you, sir. Next question for General Ravi Shankar. Vasu wants to know, US had to reverse course regarding India, but Trump's big ego will Republican base force his hand. What are the potentials of off-ramps for USA and India?
Look, as per a report in New York Times, this is, I think it came out as today, Marco Rubio and Greer, who's the chief trade negotiator, went to Trump with a deal and said this, that, and Trump has refused. This is what has been reported in New York Times. And I go by it because somewhere or other such a news has been coming that it's sitting on Trump's thing, all that. And there are a lot of nitpicking going on. This is fundamentally an ego problem for Trump. How that off-ramp will be given is something which I, at this point of time, can't imagine.
Difficult.
Right? I mean, if you ask me in a simplistic way, right, I will put it this way. I mean, it's a completely, what shall I say, out of the box kind of a thing. You know, some statesman from India should go and recommend, not the prime ministers, anyone should recommend Trump for a Nobel Prize. Just recommend him. And so for the effort he's taken to get peace in the world, that's it. And trying to finish Ukraine war here. He wants Nobel Prize, give it to him, यार मेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ता है वो गधे के गले में ना हार डाल दो. Everyone knows, you put a garland around a donkey, the donkey doesn't become, something else. It still remains a donkey. And history will judge it. Why he get worried? So, like I said, this is completely out of the box. But this is the way I look at it. Why should I? Yeah. And we also have to understand one more thing. In the long run, we are too deeply enmeshed with USA. Despite all this bitterness, our battalion has gone. In fact, what General Dushyant Singh was saying, a battalion of Madras Regiment is sitting in Alaska. The pictures are already out of there having joint talks and joint training. Okay. They're there. They're going to be there for 15 days. It's a very big event. It's not a small event which is taking place. Right? These things are going on. So we have to correct the situation. How we correct it, we'll have to see. We'll have to take some way that, because it's an ego problem. That's about all.
Next question to you, General Dushyant. Magnum Opus wants to know, how will this affect our oil refineries and our trade?
Well, I think in the short run, we should not get unduly bothered with this. There is an energy hunger in China, energy hunger in India. So we cannot compromise as far as our energy requirements are concerned. And the only issue would be to find some alternate markets if the European Union stops taking. But I find encouraging signals coming from Canada, encouraging signals coming from the EU. So the FTAs, I think, would be one good way to go about bilaterally. Let's leave the WTO and other agreements on the side. Look at for bilateral advantages. And I'm sure Indian consumption itself is so high that actually, I'll quote a very interesting data. I think most of you would not be aware. Till 2013, India was not in the top 15 of countries owning vehicles. In 2013, it came to the 14th position, straight away, jumped to 14th. Believe you me, today it is the third largest and catching up very, very fast with the United States. Now, there are problems for this. Flip side is that we don't have the infrastructure to manage, so many vehicles. For example, 75 lakh population of Shimla has 25 lakh vehicles. How are they going to manage it? What you're seeing today in Shimla is this. So energy hunger is all over in India. I don't think we should bother too much about the oil thing. It'll get sorted out in the long run. As and when Russia-Ukraine war peaks out.
Magna Ranga wants to know, notwithstanding the bin home, China cannot be trusted, but how should Bharat react if the US shows a change of heart? General Ravi Shankar.
Yeah, look, China cannot be trusted is not an issue at all. I think notwithstanding the bonhomie is what he would have
wanted to say,
Yeah.
There's no bonhomie with China. Let's be very clear. You should be very clear. There's no bonhomie with China.
Absolutely.
Right? Like what General Dushyant said, from Japan, our Prime Minister said, look, the East China Sea and South China Sea, there should not be unilateral moves by anyone to change the situation, status quo unilaterally and all. That was against China. Then he quit the summit before he got, the parade started. Yeah. So, okay. So there's no bonhomie. Please understand. Our Prime Minister went there for the SCO meet. In the SCO meet, there were 25 other countries other than China. You have to do trade with them. There's also issue with trade. If you see the Prime Minister's tweets, he met all their heads of state bilaterally. It's a forum for meeting. The deal with China and the bilateral talk with China was only for 1 hour. One day on day one. He met Myanmar chief, he met Muizu, he met, all the Central Asian republics. And he also got, India also blocked Azerbaijan's entry into our SCO. So there's no bonhomie there. Please understand. And in this last part of his talk about connectivity, which General Dushyant also said, he said connectivity without which trespasses sovereignty is no
Will not
good.
be so. Yeah.
It's not acceptable. He said this to whom was he saying this? Against CPEC. So there's no bonhomie with China. He went there for a purpose. Came back. He did that sort. Look, whatever is being spoken of in America is from their point of view. We have done what we have to do, right? If US shows a change of heart, I'm sure we'll respond. Because when they went, when they have, when they retracted from whatever they've done, and whether it is Navarro or Besant or Trump, they've got down to Gali Galoch with India, right? They called it Modi's war. They say, where is Modi and where is war? Yeah. Again, in Ukraine. If tomorrow there's likely to be peace, it is because of Mr. Modi. Again, it reinforces what I was saying about global pivot. During the SCO, who spoke to Mr. Modi? Zelensky. Zelensky said, look, please speak to Putin. And I'm sure our Prime Minister has spoken. And this is all after Mr. Trump, spoke to Putin in Alaska, big talk, still our Prime Minister is playing a hand. So if US takes a step, I'm sure we'll respond positively.
Thank you, sir. Next question. General Dushyant, this is for you. Sir, who from Trump administration is in Soros camp? Because only Soros camp can push the anti-India agenda.
I don't think it is only Soros who can put an anti-India agenda. There are various deep states working in US. I don't want to name them at this stage, who are plotting and scheming. They accept their plotting and scheming in a form of a book, maybe 20 years later, 10 years later. But India is at crosshairs of the various major powers. And I would not say that you should rest in peace just because somebody is too friendly with you or somebody is too I would say against you. This is part of statecraft. Remember Chanakya.
Next one.
We are also doing what we have to do. So we just play the game as others play the game.
Next one. This is for you, General Ravi Shankar. Can Indian Americans being in the US do anything to help resolve the dispute between US and India?
Sure.
I don't think so. To be very honest, I don't think so. I don't think they should get into this in between. Of course, those who are politically involved,
they should.
They should. But the normal people, I don't think should get involved unless they are convinced about it. I think India can. Why I'm saying this? There's a lot of people in India who feel, all the Americans of Indian origin, they're sitting and talking nothing and all that. While I agree with that, they should talk. That's the common refrain. But the way I look at it is, let them not get involved. Let it not happen as if they get caught between the two. I would prefer that we go the normal way, do the lobbying, we build up our own constituency to talk, do the institutional work rather than the emotional appeal of going down to the grassroots political thing. Because here we have faltered. You see, a lot of this problem is because we have not managed the administration well. Now, after having not managed the administration well, to expect Americans of Indian origin to bail us out is not correct. Nor is it correct for us to say that Indians who are working in America should bail us out. No, we should do the hard work first. A third-rate country like Pakistan has got much better lobbying. They've built up a better network over years. That's a different story. They've had a head start on many issues. But if they can do, why haven't we done? So the problem is with us. Why didn't a large part of this problem is also resident in the fact that we didn't manage the information, sector or the strategic communication during Ops Sindoor well. So we have to do what we have to do.
Next one, please. General Dushyant, this is for you. Can we adopt Pakistan minus SARC?
Nothing. I don't think we should move ahead with Pakistan till two basic issues are resolved between India and Pakistan. And that's one is of terrorism, which goes without saying, and the second issue, which I feel, is that they have to throw out their fixation of two nation theory. Until and unless they get out of these two mega fixations, Pakistan is not going to in Hindi I wanted to use the word sudhrenge nahi hai.
General Shankar, this is for you. On the one hand, you have the USA that wants to keep us down and subordinate, and on the other hand, China does not want us to develop or grow. What geopolitical options do we have now?
Yeah, you actually, Akash, thanks a lot for this question. Lovely question, actually. You know why? Your question tells me that India has arrived.
Yes.
India has arrived. And that is why the subject which you have chosen, India as the global pivot, is very important. Understand this. What are the geopolitical options we have? We have the rest of the world. The others are pivoting to us. Let's make use of it. This is a time for us to open out. Every challenge has an opportunity. We have a whole lot of opportunities. It's not options. I'm not talking of options. We have opportunities. We should, capitalize on them.
Next question, please. This is for General Dushyant. Austria's NATO Enlargement Committee Chairman Gunther Perlinger asks to dismantle India into ex-India. Labels. This guy is a rant. He goes and puts up some stuff and
why are we discussing it? I think we should.
Yeah, don't take him seriously, guys. Let it go.
Yeah.
I stay with General Dushyant. So you wanted to say something, General Dushyant?
No.
Nothing. I mean, this is a rant by somebody. Let him rant. Navarro.
Yes.
NATO Navarro.
NATO Navarro. Value Pilgrim wants to know, General Dushyant, psychology, there's a term, blowback effect. If you push and bully someone too much, you get a blowback. Trump seems to be pushing India for us to cower and grovel. Will India blow back? And there's another part. We faced Aurangzeb and Jizya terror reign, the British, their Lagan and Jallianwala massacres. Does Trump expect us to be scared and beg for mercy? General Dushyant.
I think there has been enough statements coming right from the US itself. Whether it was Sachs or Jeffrey Sachs, or there are a few more people up in the administration who have said, we are a 5,000-year-old civilization. Trump doesn't even know that, since when India, Pakistan had disputes over Jammu and Kashmir. It takes it 2,000 years back. There are a lot of Americans who will understand this. But yes, if you push India to a corner, India is not going to growl. Remember the cat which gets into the corner? Then you come up with a bloody face. So that's what is going to happen to, Trump. There are so many campaigns going on against Trump. I don't know how is he withstanding those media campaigns. Only IRG can throw some light on it. What is the effect on the ground, or whether it is just restricted to Indian audience. I don't know.
So there are many camps now forming inside Republican Party itself. There's a MAGA camp, and MAGA camp is not exactly thrilled with what is happening with Trump. There are also some other camps a little bit more extremist in their views, who want to see the end of H-1B visa or Indians stealing their jobs. These things are always there. So it's easy to blame somebody and then point that person as the cause for all your troubles. So, Trump has a challenge there. He also has a health challenge, from what I'm hearing. We have to wait for some time for things to settle down. There are some stable hands. Unfortunately, I think he probably provoked them into making some statements that they normally would not have. I always look at it that way. Leave it, give it some time. It's okay. Saying something doesn't mean doing it, right? So we just wait. Next one, please.
Yeah.
General Shankar, this is for you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah, sir.
please.
Yeah. Is the US really concerned about Russia, Ukraine, or are they scared of India's growing refining capacity? Once Indian oil wells are extracted, then there is a direct threat to US dollar.
There's no logic in all this. The logic is very simple. Trump's ego has been hurt.
That's it.
Okay, that's it. All this is nonsense. And as we were, as General Dushyant was talking of the last answer, and Prayerji was talking about it, it just came to me. We all think of MAGA as Make America Great Again. The day before yesterday, Mrs. Sriparna, Dr. Sriparna Patak was on my channel. So as per her, make America Gamar again. Okay. So that's what's happening in USA. We'll leave it at that. This is don't worry about this. Yeah.
Next one, Sajid Kumar, thank you so much. I'm not able to read some of the signatures because your names are not appearing on our chat window. Rather, your call or your handles are appearing. Very difficult to pick up. There was a gentleman who just contributed $10. Thank you so much. Next one, Sajid Kumar wants to know, Field Rat and Shahbaz stayed back 3 days in China and read that Munir met Xi. I'm sure they'll get a topi to Xi this time. Any guesses on how? General Dushyant.
Look, I think the fact that Munir had to come to the rescue of Shehbaz Sharif implies that the Pakistanis really were treated in a manner which they did not expect to be treated. And I don't see any encouraging signs of even Munir having come there and actually cutting any major ice. I think Z has made it some. In fact, Pankaj Saran, who was the Deputy NSA of India a few years back, he has made a very categoric statement, and he's heading a think tank here, which is NatStrat. It's a well-known think tank, and he says that China is not happy with Pakistan. It is tolerating Pakistan because of its old commitments and old and the strategic interest which it has in the CPEC and Gilgit Baltistan, Xinjiang, basically terrorism. It wants to secure itself from Xinjiang being addressed by the ETIM, etc. It finds Pakistan as a good conduit to do so. So therefore, I don't think they are going to cut much ice, except for that the ML1. In fact, ML1 project has been given to ADB. The first question which came is basically because the Chinese don't want to give them money. I won't say that they don't have the money. They don't want to give the money to them. Right? So they said, okay, go and beg with the ADB, because then the pooled money will come there. No?
Yes. Next question to General Ravi Shankar. Why would Russia play along with China and diminish their role in World War II? This is about that parade day.
Yeah. They are not diminishing. You must understand. Putin is playing a smart hand in this.
Yeah.
Just by accepting that parade and the little this thing, he doesn't lose anything. He gains everything. Remember, the ace in this whole story is something which we have not discussed. That is the Power Siberia pipeline, which is coming from Yatmal Island, which is almost in North Arctic Circle, down to through Mongolia, across Siberia into this thing. If that pipeline comes, please understand the tap is with Russia. Tomorrow, if situation changes, Russia can turn the tap off on China. And China is then entrapped with Russia. The game which is going on is slightly different. And as of now, Putin wants China to fund that line. See the thing, the funding of the line is by Xi Jinping and company. The control of the line will be with Putin. Okay? And China doesn't have a choice because it needs energy. So what if and Putin doesn't mind it at this point of time. From my side, he will say, "Nahi, yaar, only China fought World War II." He's doing that kind of negotiations.
The reality is the Chinese withdrew almost 200-300 kilometers, walked back into China after losing.
Yeah.
That is the reality, actually.
And I guess the communists never fought.
And it was the Indians who researched after 1942 under Slim the Indian army, which actually went in and captured the area right up to the border of Thailand in Myanmar. Manekshaw got I think DSO or something in Myanmar down in the Karen Hills. It's Indian blood which has restored the British pride in Myanmar.
Let me give a little this thing. People, but there's a book called Defeat into Victory.
Yeah,
by
you must
Field
read
Marshal
that book.
You read the British history, and if you read the British history, I'm not talking of India, or British. The Britishers always felt that the biggest battle in Second World War, the most critical battle, was the Burma campaign. If they had lost the Burma campaign, whatever happened in Europe didn't matter. Okay, and they were losing. I mean, now you can think the Japanese came into Nagaland, Kohima. Kohima is today in Nagaland. Imphal. Okay, where is Imphal? Imphal is in Manipur. The Japanese were there till here. They were in India. And from here to wrap them up, and Singapore had fallen. Singapore had fell long back.
Yeah. Singapore had fallen long back.
And Andaman Nicobar also was under Japanese. You go to Andaman Nicobar today, you will see Japanese bunkers still there. Okay, in some of the islands. From here, they were wrapped up. The Japanese were wrapped up and thrown back, and everywhere, right up to the Indochina. Now the Cambodia, Vietnam, that belt. Right. So this was the most critical battle. After this, Allied Normandy landings and Russian campaign and all that. And so where were the Chinese here? They were not even there. And remember, 45 to 49 was the civil war, in which the Chinese Communist Party have fought with the Kuomintang, the nationalist government, and threw them out. It was all a lies, complete lies. Sorry, I took this. I thought I'll put history in perspective.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And what a session we had today. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channels, whichever channel that you are watching from. And we'll see you again all next Thursday, same time. Namaskar.
Namaskar.